Welcome to the repair shop,
Oh, my goodness.
where precious but faded keepsakes
It's proper crushed.
are restored to their former glory.
Zhuzhing.
Could I get finished now, please?
Yes.
A dream team of expert craftspeople
I'm absolutely chuffed to bits.
Fantastic.
Brilliant.
Yes, correct.
using traditional techniques passed down the generations.
Perfecto.
It's almost magic.
Nothing better than a plan that works.
Restore irreplaceable treasures
It's perfect.
and unlock the stories they hold.
Happy tears.
It feels more magical.
I just want to hug everybody.
Nice one.
See you later.
See you, Mark.
First in the frame today, art conservator Lucia Scalisi.
Lucia, do you want to join me, please?
Oh, yeah.
Come on. All right?
Yeah. Excited.
Jean-Robert de Beauvoir has made the long trip from southwest France and along with his daughter Natasha is seeking help on a very tattered treasure.
Hello.
Hello.
How you doing?
Hello.
You all right?
Hi. Lovely to meet you.
What have you brought us in?
This is a painting of my granddad, Alain.
Okay.
And so my dad's dad.
A lot of work for you.
Okay. Okay.
So when was this painted?
We think 1939
Okay.
or 1938. My granddad would have been about 3.
Right.
By that time, my grandparents were divorced, and my dad was living partly in Avignon and partly in Limousin, in this little house. I would spend my holiday there when I was little, and
Yeah.
the painting was there with him. But the house had no heating, was left
Okay.
for 40 or 50 years. There was nobody living in there,
Okay.
only in the summer. It kind of deteriorated over time.
Yeah, it does. Damp, particularly.
So who painted this?
Would it be great aunt, Helene de Beauvoir, painted
Okay.
this.
Right.
So it would have been his aunt.
Yes.
His aunt
Yeah.
painted.
Yes.
Quite a famous painter. I didn't know much about her. I knew more about her sister, Simone de Beauvoir,
Okay.
who famous French feminist.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Learned about her in school. Didn't know she was part of the family until I was about 16,
Wow.
because he didn't tell me anything about it.
Really?
Did you see that, Dad?
Oh, that's exciting.
It is, it was. Yeah, writing all these books.
Yeah, yeah.
Amazing.
They both lived in Paris, and the connection was in that Limousin place.
Yeah.
They would come for holiday, and my dad was there as well.
That is fantastic, that family connection.
Yeah.
I know a little bit about Helene de Beauvoir as the artist, but she was, like, subsumed by her fabulous sister. But she was a great artist in her own right, but she suffered from being a woman, really.
Okay.
I mean, she's a colourist, and that is actually really beautiful. So those peachy colours and that lovely O'Donnell green. Yeah, he's a beautiful little boy.
It's the only picture of my dad as a lad that I have. I've got pictures of my mum when she was a little girl, but I don't think I have anything from my dad.
So no photographs.
Yeah.
And what was he like as a dad?
Oh, he was the best that I ever had.
Yeah? The only one.
He was also very funny.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I had a lot of good laugh with him, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
He was so caring. He was always trying to get to know us kids, and he just spent time with us. And it was so lovely.
Special times, yeah?
Yeah. It was sort of shocking when he went, because I was only, like, 8, I think.
What does this painting mean to you now, in terms of your family history and everything?
It's one of these links to my granddad, who I didn't get to know very well.
But you've got that link, and to the fantastic de Beauvoir
Absolutely. Yeah.
women.
What do you think, Lucia?
Well, to be honest, I mean, I know it sounds crazy, but structurally it's in quite good condition. where it actually is threadbare.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a balance. Do we keep it like that, or do I actually do fillings, which means I've got to patch the back?
And what would you like to happen? See these holes where I can see the table through there? What would you like done with those?
Whatever you can do, it's just a bonus, you know. I mean, whatever can be done, and
Okay.
Saving it for us is a thing.
Yeah. Well, thank you for bringing it in.
Thank you.
I think all three of us can't wait to see what Lucia does to this. So, we'll see you soon.
Yes.
Okay?
Okay.
You guys take care now.
Lovely to meet you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
It's obviously got a few problems. Where we've got sort of holes in it, amazingly, I can see the warp thread, which are the vertical threads on a loom, they're all still intact, and it's the horizontal weft threads that have snapped. On this bottom edge, there's some of the original canvas, so I'm actually going to cut some of that off and use those threads and actually reintroduce them into these losses. All the dust and dirt over these intervening decades has literally sat on the paint, and some of it will have been imbibed into the paint layer. But I've got a couple of cleaning agents that I can try with that. Then, once I've finished cleaning it and varnished it and done the retouching, it should all look really quite good. For now, I'm going to just wet it out with one of my solvents here, and it should give an indication of the actual colours that we've got left. See that colour change? That's just a little preview of what we can expect, so I'm very pleased with that.
Next, Kirsty Swatton from Hertford has brought some precious metal for the attention of jeweller Richard Talman.
Hello there.
Hello.
Welcome to the barn.
Thank you.
So what's inside the box?
We have a charm bracelet, a silver charm bracelet.
Lovely.
Okay.
Now that is a charm bracelet. There's so many charms
It really
there.
is, yes.
Where's it from?
So this was gifted to my mum by her dad in the early 60s. He was a greyhound trainer in East London in the 40s and 50s, and that was quite a colourful part of London back then. And this was gifted to her from him, and that was very special.
Such incredible detail, isn't it?
Yes.
Because it's such an eclectic mix of charms there. I mean,
Yeah.
do you know what any of them mean?
I think some of these bracelets were wishing for you charms
Rather than have been significant to an
than
event
things that have
happened.
already happened.
Oh, I see.
Okay.
The engagement ring, that is, you know, a link to a marriage. The horse would be because my mum, her brothers, they were all very much into horses. My mum would break horses in.
What's your mum's name?
Linda.
And your grandfather's name?
Johnny.
Johnny.
You know, he was very young when he passed. So it's always been a very, very special piece for her. And I've known about it ever since I can remember. My mum would always allow me to dress up in this piece. I would wear her shoes and her lipstick, and I'd always be allowed to put this on. So very special memories I've got as a kid wearing this. I've been enchanted by it my whole life. It's sentimental, but I know that my mum would want this played with just as I did, so it would be great to have it fixed so that I could do that.
You say that your mum would want to. Is your mum not still alive?
No, we lost her back in Boxing Day 2020.
I'm sorry.
So she was a lovely mum to me growing up. Try not to get too upset here. She was very much my best friend as well.
I can see how much it means to you.
Yes. It meant a lot to her and, you know, ultimately a lot for me, and now my daughter who wants to... She knows it was her nana's. It's the only thing she will have tangible of hers.
This is the one constant thing that kind of really links all the generations.
Yeah.
But the main thing is that this needs to be still intact to be able to pass it down.
Yes. Yes, exactly.
So what exactly is wrong with it?
There's always been some stones missing. So the fish had red eyes. I don't remember the stone for the engagement ring. Some of the charms do need some repair.
I look forward to starting this. Most repairs only focus around one solid piece, but yeah, I think we've probably got about 10 to do here.
Can you do that, Rich?
I'm going to try my hardest, that's for sure.
Thanks so much for coming down.
You.
And we'll see you soon.
Thank you, Kirsty.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
There's nothing more unique than a charm bracelet because every single charm that's on this bracelet tells some kind of story, but unfortunately, they're not all in good shape, so it's going to be quite a job ahead of me. The elephant has certainly seen better days. He's very, very badly tarnished. He's going to need certainly a lot of cleaning. This lovely little crown collet solitaire ring, I think it's going to be a really nice touch to make sure we put a stone in that to make it look like a proper engagement ring. But to do any sort of work on this, because it's got so many pieces hanging from it, I think my best chance is to simply remove and dismantle the entire piece and remove each and every one of them. So now I've got these charms off of the bracelet, I can now get these into the ultrasonic cleaner to give them a really good thorough clean.
Having previously restored artworks dating from medieval times, removing 8 decades of dust from the little French portrait should be a clean sweep for Lucia.
The solution I'm going to use is basically water with a drop of ammonia. It can be quite difficult to remove a dirt layer from a painting that hasn't been varnished because the varnish does act as an isolating layer. But this is coming off really nicely. I did know of Helene de Beauvoir as a painter. She was an abstract artist. She went into the expressionist style of painting, just using lots of bold colours. This sort of looseness and spontaneity of applying the paint. She's painted this in oil, and I know it's oil, well, partly because of the way that she's handled it, but also at that time that she painted it in the late 30s. Acrylic paints weren't invented, so she wouldn't have had access to any of that. I will go into the face of Alain, the little boy. I have to be a bit more careful here just because there's a lot of ravines and crevasses with the paint loss, but look at that lovely little curl he's got on his forehead. It's got reds and oranges and browns in there as well. She's trying to capture the character of a much-loved child, so she really imparts that into this piece of work. I've got a lot more cleaning to do. After that, I'm going to start working on these areas of loss and reintroduce some of the fibres that I'm going to take from the edges of the canvas. I'm going to sort of graft those into those losses. Then I'll fill, and then I'll start to retouch. And then that's when you start to see it all coming together. And that's the plan. That is the plan. Julie?
Yes?
Do you or Amanda have one of those old-fashioned, like, little needle threads?
Oh, yes.
I'm using this tiny needle, but the thread I'm threading is a little bit thick. That's exactly what my gran had. Thank you. Perfect. It's one threaded needle with the actual fibre or the thread from the weave of this canvas. It's basically the weft that of a loom that I'm putting back. So I'm using the vertical threads, the warp threads, to weave in and out of. It's going to be quite a bit of more work to do this, but it'll be well worth it. And then once I've put the patches on the back, I can then turn the whole picture over and start to fill and then retouch. I'm very pleased with the way this is going so far. That little bit of darning does help to bring the whole thing together much more naturally using the same materials that are already in the painting. The next stage is going to be filling all this multitude of losses. It's a bit of a faux paint layer, a ground layer, and then I can paint on top of it and it will match everything else. The filling I'm going to use is an acrylic filler. So, here we go. I'm not going to be looking for a fill that is completely smooth, because when I look at the surface of the painting, the canvas weave is showing through the paint layer, and I want to sort of have that as a textural part of the surface. Once these fillings are all in place, the painting will already start to look a bit more whole, and then it'll be ready for retouching. I finished the filling, so I'm going to actually start putting the base coat colours in with watercolour, just to knock out all the white islands of filling that I've done. The watercolours I'm using, they're really easy to use and they provide a little bit more of an opaque coating. I can't go straight into retouching with my dry pigments and synthetic resins because they are, for the most part, transparent, and the undercolour will shine through. So I've got quite a bit of work to do with the watercolours just to get rid of all this whiteness. Even though it looks very sort of scratchy and patchy, it really starts knitting everything together.
Raring to repair, it's horologist Steve Fletcher's time to shine.
Yeah, how many clocks have you worked on?
Thousands and thousands. I've been doing it half a century.
Seriously? Wow. All right. Got to take care of it. You want to sit down?
Bless you.
There she is. Hello.
Hello.
So what have we got inside?
Jasvinder Bogle from the West Midlands has brought a treasured possession that holds fond memories.
So it's my dad's clock.
Yeah.
It stopped working in 1985 when my dad passed away.
1985.
And it hasn't worked since.
Wow. What was Dad's name?
Darshan Singh Bansal. My dad saw the clock at his first cousin's house and just fell in love with it. And he wanted one exactly the same.
Oh, bless.
And so my cousin went out and bought this clock for him.
And what year was that?
Around about the 60s.
So what do you remember about this clock from your childhood?
It was the bane of my life.
I don't say it like that. What do you mean?
It just constantly chimed. When you're trying to watch something, it chimed on the hour.
OK.
So 1 o'clock, OK. 2 o'clock, 2 chimes.
Right.
So by the time it's got to 7 o'clock on an evening, all you can hear is this chiming going on.
Right.
So we'd try and stop it from chiming and stop the pendulum until my dad found out.
Wow.
And we weren't allowed to touch it ever again.
So if it was the bane of your life, well, why would you want to get it repaired now?
Because I need my dad back in my life.
All right. Okay.
It means a lot to me, because this is the only memory I've got of my dad. And I just need something to hold on to.
Yeah.
And it's the clock.
Yeah.
How old were you when your dad passed?
I was 8 years old.
Oh.
He had a heart attack, just out the blue. He was 48 when he died. He was an absolutely wonderful bloke. He was just lovely. He was an entertainer, I'd say. He loved entertaining.
Yeah.
Loved cooking. Yeah. So Mum wasn't allowed to cook if we had family round.
Seriously?
Yeah, it was Dad.
Wow.
Dad did all the cooking. He was a gentleman.
Yeah.
So what will it mean to you if I can get it striking again?
Well, I'll just know my dad's there. And that's all that matters.
I see it's all held together with tape.
It is. My brother tried to fix it a couple of years ago, and he took the hinges off and tried to keep it all together. We just want it working again.
Right. I've got to get it done.
Thank you for bringing it in.
Thank you.
You take care now. Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
It's amazing, isn't it, how much memory can be stored in a thing like this.
Yeah. All right.
Right. This clock is a 30-day clock, which means you wind it up once a month. Whoa. The first thing I can see is that someone has put lots and lots of oil on it, and it's probably the wrong sort of oil, because if you use an oil that's too thick, a clock will just stop working. It's just thoroughly gummed up. So I need to take the mechanism apart, give it a really good clean, and then I can identify if there's any wear that I need to repair. And then I'll give the case a really good polish and put some proper screws in.
Over on his bench, Richard is trying to put the charming back into the silver bracelet.
Now these charms have had a bit of a bath in the ultrasonic. It's removed all of the 60 years worth of dirt and grime and just allowed me to know what's tarnish and what's damage. The worst effect is this little elephant. And he looks like he's got a tarnish line travelling all the way around him, because this has actually been assembled by two separate halves, and it's actually the solder line that's ended up tarnishing. I'm going to see if I can get rid of all that. I'm going to use a polish called Tripoli, which is a grease abrasive. You see there, that's done exactly the trick I'd hoped. That solder line is now the same colour as the rest of its body. I've just now got to repeat that process times 10 with the other charms. So the fish is now all polished, and now I need to turn my attention to replacing the stones in the eyes. And I'm going to take a little bit of glue, and I'm taking the paste stone onto a piece of beeswax. It just allows me to pick the stone up, holds it on the end, enough for me to just hold the stone exactly where I want it, but not sticky enough to pull it off the fish. So there you go. Just going to let that glue set for a bit longer, and then I'll turn him over and do the other side. So, moving on to the next charm. I think this one's definitely my favourite. I've actually never worked with a ring as small as this. I'm really keen to put a new stone in exactly the same way I would if it was a real-life engagement ring. So the stone I'm using is cubic zirconia, which is a man-made gemstone. I need to take a very small burr. It's going to grind away a perfect semicircle on each of the claws, and it's that semicircle that the stone will sit into to allow me to bend the claws over. Okay. The next challenge is to bend the claws over to secure it. Whew. That stone is going nowhere. I'm really happy with that. Now it's on to the next one. I really wanted to just give an extra special little touch to Kirsty's mother by making a letter shape L for her name, Linda. I'm going to take a piece of sterling silver and I'm going to start by filing into it a little mitre edge. So I've now got a little V shape cut out of it, and the reason for that is so that I can bend the metal round perfectly to make the L. So I'm going to solder it up. I'm now just going to file some curvature into it, make it look a little bit nicer, and I really hope that when Kirsty's eyes catch this, it'll just bring a really lovely memory of her mother.
Steve's skills are being stretched by the 30-day clock.
I've unleashed the mainsprings of the clock, and they're really long. And they're long because they have to give the clock power for 30 days. This is the mainspring that actually drives the time side of the clock. The other drives the striking mechanism. They're also absolutely covered with a thick grease, and it just doesn't wash off. So I'm having to use some wire wool and some detergent and really press hard to get it all off, because if a mainspring doesn't slip nicely against each other, then it just won't release the power nice and smoothly. Hello, Louise.
Oh, Chris, come on over.
I think this is probably one of the longest springs I've ever had to clean. Good.
Lucia's plan to restore the joie de vivre to the colours of the French portrait is in full swing.
I'm at the retouching stage where I use my dry pigments in the synthetic resins. So I've mixed up 2 shades of green here. And I've actually got a chrome yellow in my pigments. It's very bright. And I'm mixing that with a cobalt blue. And that's the shade of green I get. It's a much more grassy green. The challenge is to try and mimic the techniques that Helene used so that my work blends in and doesn't jar against what she's done. And particularly in this instance when it's painted by someone like Alain. You learn with every single painting, even if I'd worked on 10 of her paintings, would have just been learning the techniques that she brought into play to create the work, really. But it's not a quick job, and it really helps being short-sighted. I can see why this is important to Natasha. It was her grandfather, and to Jean Robert, his father. So there's that emotional continuity through the generations. So I'm going to do this final retouching, and then it'll be the final varnish, which will bring up the finish, and then I'll be able to give it back to Natasha and Jean Robert.
Having been painted over 80 years ago, this sweet little portrait was showing its age.
Perfect.
Exciting.
Exciting. Oh, bless you. You're made up.
It thrills me, thrills me.
It's the only picture Jean Robert has of his father as a child, and it joins artist to ancestors across 4 generations.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi, Natasha.
How you doing?
Hello, Jean.
They're both coming with smiles. Look at that.
Yeah.
Curious to see what miracle you managed.
Oh, okay.
I think they're ready.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. They're ready.
I'm very excited to show you.
Oh, wow.
That's incredible. Oh, my word.
Yeah.
Wow. The colours are so vibrant. I can't even remember where the holes were.
Is that the same? You can definitely see my dad there.
It's him, for sure.
Yeah, amazing.
Yeah.
Really, really. What's amazing is that I actually never really recognized him in the painting up to today.
Yeah.
It's the first time I really noticed that it is him looking at me.
I sort of see you in there, Dad. Because obviously we've got pictures of you when you were really little, and you again were blonde, curly hair as well.
It's multi-generational painting, it is.
It is.
So do you think Helene did a good job of capturing a few generations so far?
Well, I think she did a good job. I can see the eyes, and the painting it is beautiful.
It is stunning.
And certainly what you've made of it is beautiful.
It's just been a fascinating project to work on.
My dad would be chuffed.
Yeah?
Because it's a painting he was very proud of.
Thank you for bringing it in, both of you. It's all yours.
Okay, thank you.
Great pleasure.
Thank you very much.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
It feels incredible to have this painting now. Grandad's there all the time, because he wasn't for, fortunately, a long part of my life. So it's so nice to know that he's there, watching over us.
Having that painting alive again, it's a new lease of life that has been given to that painting, and hopefully it will be enjoyed forever after now.
Work continues on the stopped clock, whose tick and chime once provided the soundtrack to a family home.
I've got all of the parts of the clock now really clean, and I've just been checking out all of the wheels in their pivot holes, in the place that they're supposed to sit. And it's identified that actually there is so much wear in this clock. Dust just gets into the case and mixes with the oil in all the pivot holes and acts as a grinding paste. And that just makes the holes far too big for the clock to work. So you've got this one pivot hole with probably about almost 0.5 millimetre of wear, which in clock terms is huge. If that's worn, then the wheels don't mesh properly. Instead of nicely sort of meeting like that, they actually start hitting on the top like that and causing a lot of friction. So what I need to do is reduce the size of the pivot hole, and to do that I need to use a bush, which is one of these little things. Before I pop that into the plates, I need to just open up the hole in the centre there, big enough for the pivot just to slide in nice and snugly. I'm just going to open up the hole using a broach, which is a 5-sided tapered cutting tool. And as I spin the lathe, I just gently push it in, and it opens up the hole nice and evenly. Okay, that's tight enough, but not too tight. I'm now going to use a different sort of cutting tool, and this is a reamer, which again is tapered, but will open up the hole just the right size for the bush to go in. These sort of tools have been used for hundreds of years. The hole that it opens up is slightly smaller than the bush, so when you push the bush in, it holds it so tight that it won't come out. And when I push it in, it'll be really friction tight. I'm just going to make sure that it spins nicely. Good, that's nice and smooth. Just got another probably 12 to do. And then I can get the clock back together and get it ticking.
With every tiny charm now back to its lucky best, Richard could reunite them with their silver bracelet.
I'm going to start off with the engagement ring in the little heart locket. I really hope that when Kirsty sees this, that she's going to be confident enough to let her daughters try it on and hopefully recreate the same memories that it held for her when she tried it on from her mother.
Every charm holds a memory for Kirsty about her childhood and the beloved mum she lost 3 years ago. Along with daughter Heidi, she's hoping to recreate happy times, playing dress-up with the bracelet.
Hello there.
Hello.
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 Who do we have here?
Heidi.
Hi, Heidi.
Nice to meet you.
And nice to have you back as well.
Thank you very much.
Well, Heidi, have you heard all about the bracelet?
Yeah.
What would you like to do with it when you get home?
Play with it.
Play with it. Well, we won't keep you in any more suspense. Rich?
You've waited long enough.
Shall we have a look?
Yes, please.
All right, go on, Rich.
Oh, my goodness. That looks... that looks completely different. Look at that. It's just incredible. I just can't believe it looks brand new, doesn't it? And what's that? Look. For Linda, Nana's name. It's just perfect. I just can't thank you enough.
It's been a pleasure.
It's just phenomenal.
Now I can see Heidi getting even closer to the bracelet.
Eyeing it up.
Would you like to try it on? Yeah? Go on then.
Which hand do you want it on? This one. Okay. How does that feel? We have to look after it, don't we? What do we say?
Thank you.
It's been a pleasure, Heidi. It's been lovely to meet you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
It looks absolutely incredible. The additional charm, it's like her stamp on it that I know that she would love. It's just her piece. It will always be her piece. It's something that we will treasure forever.
It looks lovely.
With the inner workings of the 1960s clock swinging again, Steve can turn his attention to the battered outer case.
This is all polishing up quite well. There are a few little dings and blemishes, but it's just a part of its age. Now that I've got all these parts cleaned up, I might just leave the door off until I get the mechanism in, and then the last thing I can do is then pop the door back on and all be working. I'm very excited. Even though I've been doing it for half a century, I still get a huge buzz out of doing it.
This clock's incessant chiming may once have irked, but it's been silent since 1985.
You happy?
Really happy.
Yeah. I can't wait to hear it.
Sounds good.
For Jasvinder, hearing the clock again will conjure up precious childhood memories of her beloved dad.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi, welcome back.
Hi, thank you.
You excited to see the clock?
Really excited, yeah. It's the only lasting memory of my dad. I'm looking forward to seeing it again.
Do you want to have a look?
Yes, please.
Yeah. Come on, Steve.
Oh, my God. Thank you. It's beautiful. Beautiful. It was his pride and joy.
Just going to set it ticking.
It still chimes. Wait until it's 12 o'clock, that's the annoying one.
Drive you mad.
Drive you mad when it's 12 o'clock.
It's been a while since you've heard it do that.
Yeah, definitely 40 years. Yeah. It just takes me back to my childhood. Just hearing that ticking again, it's just amazing. Absolutely amazing.
I'm so pleased you're happy with it.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
It's lovely to meet you. Thank
you too. Thank you.
See you soon.
Okay, bye. It takes me back to my childhood. It takes me back to when I was 6, 7, just running around the house and hearing it. And to me, it means that my dad's still around and always will be. He's back again.